Thank you, Madam President. I'm pleased to be able to be here today to speak in strong support of David Bernhardt's nomination to be Secretary of the Interior. And I want to thank all of my colleagues on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. We worked pretty hard together to report Mr. Bernhardt's nomination. Last week we moved it out with good bipartisan support. I also want to thank the Majority Leader for filing cloture this week so that we can confirm him before we depart for this two-week work period. I've got several reasons. I have a whole host of different reasons to outline as to why I support Mr. Bernhardt's nomination. I outlined them before the committee, but I'd like to take a couple minutes here this afternoon to reiterate them on the Senate floor. First is really his background. He understands and is in touch with our public lands. Mr. Bernhardt is from the West, where, of course, the vast majority of our public lands are located. He grew up in Rifle, which is a small town in western Colorado. He spent a lot of his summers in Wyoming. He, to this day, remains an avid sportsman, outdoorsman. He likes hunting and fishing. He's a guy who appreciates the outdoors. He is really almost unparalleled in terms of the experience that he brings to the job. He's worked at the Department of Interior now for about 10 years, including 2 Senate-confirmed posts. Back in 2006, we confirmed him as solicitor by voice vote. And then in 2017, we confirmed him to be the deputy secretary. Again, that vote was a good bipartisan vote. He's now served as acting secretary since January of 2019. So, we've got a situation where, simply put, he has more experience at the department than any other previous nominee for secretary except one. So that's pretty good credential there. Of equal importance, Mr. Bernhardt has the right perspective to be the Secretary of the Interior. He understands how federal land management decisions affect our local communities. He's seen how federal policies impact people's access to and use of public land. And he also recognizes the need to balance conservation and opportunities for economic development. I think that David Bernhardt has really proven his ability to lead the department. He's well qualified, he is highly competent, he's built strong working relationships with those who are affected by the department's decisions. I really think that there's no question but that he is ready for the job. He can handle everything that it entails. I've been asked by several of the reporters that are out there, what do you think that David Bernhardt really brings to the table? And what I have shared with them is that as I have gotten to know David Bernhardt in his various capacities there at Interior, he is a guy who understands and enjoys the policy of these issues. He likes to get down into the fine details. He knows the background. He's not just being given something by staff to read. He is the one that is really engaged in an understanding to a level of detail that is greatly appreciated. When I think about the importance of this position as Secretary of the Interior, I come at it from the perspective of an Alaskan, coming from a state that has more federal acres than any other state. The Department of Interior controls most of those. We often refer to the department and the secretary specifically as our landlord. And that's not necessarily a title that we like. We like to consider ourselves a partner. But I think we truly recognize that we need leadership to understand and appreciate the impact that their decisions within the Department of Interior can have on us. And I know that David Bernhardt understands that. He has been a good partner for Alaskans. But he's also been a good partner for individuals, groups, and states all across the country. And that's why his nomination is supported by a wide range of stakeholder groups, from the Alaska Federation of Natives to Ducks Unlimited, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. I think it's also important to note that Mr. Bernhardt moved through our committee process in pretty good order here. He answered all of our questions. Again, he demonstrated the depth of his understanding of the issues, his expertise. He really exceeded expectations, which led to a very strong bipartisan vote of 14-6 at the business meeting last week. Now the full Senate has the opportunity to confirm Mr. Bernhardt. Now, some will continue to make allegation over ethics, but the fact of the matter is we have reviewed those charges. We found nothing that should hold him back. And I know that this has been a subject of discussion here on the Senate floor, so I want to lay out very clearly. There are some news stories that are being printed and have been printed that are filled with old information that's already been reviewed by our committee staff. News stories, old facts. They don't contain anything new or anything disqualifying. There is nothing amiss here, and there's no valid reason to delay this process. The Office of Government Ethics has certified that Mr. Bernhardt is in good standing. So has Interior's designated agency ethics official. My committee staff has contacted Interior's Inspector General. It's been confirmed that there are no open investigations into Mr. Bernhardt. So I would tell folks that what needs to happen here, we need to move forward. We need to reject the last-minute rhetoric that's designed to delay. We need to confirm a well-qualified candidate to be our next Secretary of the Interior. We have a lot to do. Interior has a lot to do to make sure that we're protecting our lands, increasing our energy security, as well as fulfilling all of the missions of the department. And the sooner that we are able to confirm a secretary to focus on them, the better. Mr. President, Mr. Bernhardt is very well qualified to be the Secretary of the Interior. He has the right background, the right experience, and the right perspective for the job. He's ready to lead on a permanent basis, and I'm glad that very shortly here we're going to be considering his nomination, and I would strongly encourage every member of this chamber to support his confirmation. I have an additional statement that I would ask unanimous consent be included as part of the record that goes into more fulsome detail from those who have written in to support the nomination of David Bernhardt, organizations like the American Council of Snowmobile Associations, the Off-Road Business Association, county commissioners from around the country, representatives from the Alaska Federation of Natives, as well as various tribes, and I would ask that that be incorporated